Welcome guys. Today I'm going to show you how to make a small task management app in C. So in pure C, it's going to be a fun one. Yeah, it's going to be a UI app, and yeah, what else is there to say? We're not going to be using any GTK, Qt, all of that garbage. We're just going to use C with libleif, which is a very small and suckless, I might say, library that I made, which is a very cool UI library, which can do a lot of things. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I'm going to show you how it will look in the end, like this. And you're going to have your to-dos, and the tasks can have multiple priorities. For example, high priority, and it's going to be, if it's high, it's going to be further up. If it's lower, it's going to be further down. And you can tick it if it's done. If you don't want it on your list, you can remove it, and you can add a new task. For example, get a new fish and put it in medium category. And maybe you also want to visit my grandmother. Yeah, and it's going to be pretty high because, yeah. And now you have that. And also, we're going to implement a complete serialization system where I close the app, and where it is here to do, and it's still here, okay? So all of this will be implemented in C, and yeah, I hope you like it, and let's start. So let's start by opening our little terminal, going into a dev folder, doing that, to do YT, and in here, let's nvim to-do.c to create yeah, our main file, and let's try and just include stdio.h, int main, printf, hello, to do, yeah, and then just return 0. And now we can do to-do.c, to do. Okay, we have hello to do, everything is working fine. And yeah, I think I will make the font a little bit larger for you to see on the phone. And okay, so that's pretty cool already, but to have, okay, what the fuck, to have like UI and stuff, we're going to need a little bit more, because sadly the C standard library doesn't provide anything. So let's first install glfw, which is the windowing library that we're going to use. So just on Arch, you can install it with your package manager, also on Debian and pretty much all of the systems. And yeah, so install that, and now we can already start like our window by including gfw/gfw3.h, and put a gfw init, gfw window, gfw create window, with like this resolution, and we're going to call it to do, because it's, yeah, like a task management / to do. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to call that, but just going to name it to do. And we make the OpenGL context for the window for us to draw something. Actually, yeah. And then we also can do GFW not GFW window should close. Yeah. And which what that does is just a application loop that runs till the window is closed. And we poll events and swap the buffers of the window in the loop, and that's basically it. Okay, we can maybe like GA clear, GA color buffer bit to refresh our color buffer, and also we can clear with a little background color of like dark gray to make it pretty cool, yeah. And then we terminate GFW and destroy the window after our loop to clean everything up, and that's basically it. Now we can link with GFW and also link with GL, because we use GL and stuff. And now we can start our app, and we have our little window already. Perfect. And now what we're going to need is our UI library. For that, just clone https github.com slash cococry slash leif, which is the repository for the UI library, and then you're going to cd into leif. Okay, and quickly needed to pull because the changes weren't staged yet. So what you want to do is just /install.sh, and it's going to like install the library on your system. You're not going to have to do anything, and yeah, it's just installing the dependencies and stuff and building. So just wait for that to finish, and hopefully everything's going correctly, because you don't really need to install any additional dependencies, and you have installation finished. So let's now include leif/leif.sh, which should be in your path now, and yeah, then we can just initialize leif. So with elif initgfw, with that resolution and with the window, and then we can elif begin and elif end to begin our leif session and end leif session every like tick. And now we have no such file or directory. Okay. Okay. So because we cloned into leif, so we can now remove leif because you don't really need it anymore because it's already installed. So now let's try that, and we have undefined references. So let's link with leif and link with clipboard, because leif depends on libclipboard, which is installed on your system now because of the leif installation. And now we also need math, and now it works. Okay, so to do, and now nothing happens because we don't render anything, but it works, which is good. So let's try rendering hello world, but yeah, in a UI way, I guess. So let's try, and perfect, we have hello world. Nice. Okay, now let's start doing something, which is going to be, first we need some fonts, and the fonts you can get them by just cloning the this repository. So git clone https github.com/cococry/todo, which is the to-do app already done. And in here you're going to have fonts. So you just want to copy -r fonts into dev, and then your to-do folder just where you're developing. And now we have the fonts, and I think it's like Inter. I think the font is Inter. Yeah, Inter and Inter bold. And now let's start by like if you can see, doing this. Like the first thing that we're going to need to do is, like, you see around all the edges there's the same like margin, and what I did there is just create a leif div that has the margin around the window. So let's do that by just saying elif div begin with like, let's define a margin. So hash define win margin, and I think 20 pixels is pretty good for the margin. So let's say we begin at win margin, because it's just going to be a container. So here is 0 0 where my mouse is, and like 2020 is going to be here, and then we want to span it from till like win width minus the margin, I guess. Yeah, but it's going to be minus the margin times 2, because it's a scale. So we because we need to keep in mind that we already have like the margin here, so we need to do, I think it's the scale is the next thing. Yeah, so like the win width. So let's factor that out by just saying static int win width is like this, like 1280, and 720 is going to be the win height. So win height is going to be that, and then just init with win width and win height, win width and win height, like that. And so we span it to win width minus win margin times 2, and win height minus win margin times 2. Like this. And now we need to put parentheses like that, because the macro will think that we put multiple arguments, like, because it doesn't have the parsing abilities of checking that the comma in here is not the next argument, so just put that in parentheses like that. And then scrollable is the next thing, so let's make it scrollable, because in the end if you have multiple entries, you want to scroll them. Yeah, so let's have it scrollable. Then we enter div, and in here we can say something like your to do already, your to do, and yeah, recompile, and now we have that. But we can see it's working, but we don't really want to have the weird color of the div. So we can just in the elif theme say that divs by default don't have a color. So let's say elif theme equal to elif get theme, and then we say theme.divprops.color is equal to no color, and then set the theme to the theme and recompile. Okay, so now it's gone, but the your to do is a little bit too small. So let's say we are going to have a so let's put that in here. So static elif font, like title font, and let's initialize it by elif by using elif load font /font/ I think it's interbold is better for the title, and like maybe like 40 pixels for the size. And yeah, so that's it for creating the title font, but we also need to free the font after we terminate, so like that. And now for the to do, we just push the font, title font, and pop the font. And now let's see, now it's better. Now it's looking way better. So your to do. Now let's add the new task button. Okay, so what we're going to do is just have a elif button fixed. So let's put that into a new scope just to make sure. So let's have a elif button fixed, new task. The width is going to be like I think 160 pixels is good, and the height is going to be -1, because -1 just takes the normal height. And yeah, if we just would start that, you can see that we have we have that thing which looks horrendous. So let's first like pop the font in here already. And then we have this, which looks a bit better, but still nothing really good. So let's first put it in top right of the screen. For that, let's say elif. Let's first say const float width is equal to 160, and have the width in here. And then first let's style the button. So elif get theme dot button props. The real styling is going to be happening later. I just want to set the margin left to 0 to not mess up the placement, and the margin top, yeah, let's not worry about that, but also the right to 0. Push style props, and elif pop style props. Yeah. So now after we did that, let's say elif set pointer x absolute, which just sets the pointer for the next element to a given value, and let's set it to the win width minus the button width minus the win margin. I think that should kind of work. And for the y, we don't really need to set that. So let's try if that works. Okay, it's here now, because it probably overflowed. But for that, let's just say elif set align should overflow false for the button, just to quickly see if it really overflowed or if it's just right. Okay, it's not really correct. Let's just try win margin times 2. And see if that works. Yeah, that's now it works, and now I think it's also perfect. It looks like that. Okay, but now let's try and style our button, because it's looking pretty yeah, not modern. So let's first say the color is going to be a very specific color. We're going to use the blue that we also used in the real app. So LF color 65, 167 and 204. That's the RGB color code. Yeah. And the border width is going to be 0 because you saw the little border. We don't need that. And then the corner radius is going to be, I think, 4. It's kind of good. And yeah. So let's have that, but let's have that like that, because we don't want to waste space for the styling like that. So let's have it like this, and now it's looking kind of good. I think it's looking like, yeah, it's looking very alike. But I think the background color, where do we set the background color? In here. So let's say 0.05, because I think it's a little bit cooler if it's like very black, because the yeah, that's cooler, because the blue is like very shiny now. That's kind of cool. Okay, so now we have the top bar pretty much done. So let's put that into a function. So let's say static void render top bar, which just encapsulates this behavior that we did here. So without the elif end, so that's just it for the top bar. And now we're going to go render the little like the filters. Okay, all right, so let's first say render top bar, and then for the filters, what we're going to have is a static const char pointer like filters, which is going to be like, I don't know them from memory, from heart, I guess you can say that. It's all, okay, so all in progress, completed, low, medium, and high. So that's all the filters. And now what we could just do is for u32 I is equal to 0, I is less than, and by the way, we should do elif next line in here to advance into the next line. Yeah, it's less than num filters. So num filters is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say I++, and then just say elif button filters at I. And yeah, that's going to look very, very weird. And also there are buttons. So there are also actually buttons in the real app, because like if I click on it, they actually look like buttons, but if I don't have them selected, it's just text. So let's say it's equal to elif. So the props is just a text prop. So we're going to have a button that looks like a text, basically. So prop, yeah, and we just don't want to do anything, basically. So elif push style props and elif pop style props. Yeah. So let's have yeah, I think it's looking pretty nice, but the margin top is a little bit off. So let's say margin top is maybe 20 pixels. See how that looks, but I think maybe too much. So like that. Now it's pretty cool, but I think the margin, like this margin is too small. Like the margin that the items have to each other, it's too small. So let's say margin right is going to be like also 30 pixels or something. Yeah, that looks, I think it looks pretty cool. How did we have that here? Yeah, it's also like maybe 30. But now obviously we want to have that on the right of the screen. So to do that, we need to do a little bit of tinkering, which is first pre-render the buttons. Like we want to render them, but don't really render them. We just want to advance the pointer to get the distance that the pointer traveled when it was rendering the filters, because that's the best way we can get the width of this entire thing, because we need the width of this entire thing to offset it. Let's have a float width, and it's not float, so float width is 0, and then we need to have the pointer x before we rendered, so it's equal to elif get pointer x, and then we push our style props, and we need to have them in here because we want to render with the same props also in no render mode, because we need to calculate with margin and stuff. So we need to push our props, and then we set no render to true, and then we just say uint32 I is equal to 0, and then I is less than num filters I plus, and then we just render a button, but it's not going to be visible on the screen. It's actually filters at I, I'm sorry. And yeah, then that's basically it. Yeah, and then we set no render to true, and the width is just going to be the current pointer now minus the pointer x before minus actually the margin right, because we're not, like, if you see, the margin right is also always going to be on the right, so it has like 30 pixels margin in here, but we want to subtract that, but we also want to subtract the margin, the padding, and then we end up with the width of the entire items, of the entire filters. And with that we can now just set elif set pointer x absolute, the win width minus the width minus the margin, or win margin. Okay. So we forgot that, so we just set no render to true everywhere, so we don't render any text. Okay, so that looks pretty nice, but I think like it looks kind of fine. But let's say elif set line should overflow false to make sure that it's not going to overflow, and that looks pretty nice actually. But let's say win margin times 2, because it's a little bit, yeah, I don't know, is it cool like that? I don't know, maybe like just like 1 times 1, but let's set the margin top to 30. Yeah, that's good, that looks kind of nice. And now if we select the filter, we want to set the color actually of the button to another color, and yeah, so let's do that actually. But for that we need to have a, first what we need is a typedef enum like entry filter. The filter modes are going to be all, then in progress, completed, low, medium, and high. Yeah. Okay, so let's have that before our variables. So that's going to be the entry filter, and then we have a static entry filter, current filter. Yeah, which is our current filter. Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, and so if we click the button, so if the button is clicked, so if a filter was clicked, we just want to say current filter is equal to I. We can say entry filter, cast that. In here, what we're going to say is props.color is equal to, and then current filter equal I. So if we're on the current filter, then the color is going to be like maybe like 100 or like 120, 120, 120, which is a gray, and else we just don't want any color. No, not that. I'll have no color. yeah, and now, okay, yeah, that kind of did a thing, but what the fuck is that? So let's first try and debug that. I think it's just because we have a very small padding, or no padding, I guess. So let's say padding is going to be 10. Yeah. Okay. That looks better. But also not great. Okay, guys. So what I encountered is that previously the buttons that we were using for the width calculation, they are also buttons, they're just not shown. And yeah, they had a problem, which was that they were overlapping with the real buttons, so they were here. And for example, for the all button, this button was overlapping. And yeah, that made a problem because I couldn't click the all button because it was thinking I clicked that button and it doesn't, yeah, like propagate the events correctly. But what I just did is I get the pointer y before, and then I set the pointer y absolute for the buttons that we don't render, just plus 50, and then I set it again to the thing that we had before, which puts those buttons that we don't see down, and the ones that we see are still in the same position. But now let's get our properties back. So the margin left is going to be 10 now, the margin right is going to be 10, and the margin top is going to be 30, and the padding is going to be 10. Border width, we don't want a border, so 0, and the color is no color by default, so like that, and the text color is LF white. And yeah, let's see. Okay, looks pretty nice, looks pretty cool. But now let's say props.color is equal to current filter equal entry filter I, question mark. We say so if the current filter is if we are on the current filter, we say LF color like this, and 255, 255, 255, 50, and else no color. And this color is just a translucent white, which is pretty nice. So let's see. In here, okay, perfect. We have that like this, and we can click around. That's perfect, but let's have a props.corner radius equal to like 8, because yeah, it fits with the modern style. Why does the corner radius not show? Yeah, okay, I think it doesn't correctly recompile. Okay, now it's looking pretty nice, and we already have like 50% done of the dashboard UI. Yeah, we just need the tasks. Alright, so let's move all of this code into a separate function. Call it static void render filters, and yeah, remove the scope because we don't need that in the function, and render filters in the next line, and see if it still works. And it still actually works. Nice. Okay, now we need to render our entries, or to do entries. For that, let's have a okay, we already did the entry priority. I think I pasted it. So yeah, so what you have to do is just put a filter underscore like before all of the filters, so they don't conflict with the priorities. So priority low, priority medium, priority high, and a task entry consists of a completed, description, date, and priority. And we're going to have a task entry pointer array, of entries, and then also a static uint 32 num entries, which is going to be 0. Okay. Yeah. And then let's set up our first entry. So let's say task entry is equal to malloc size of entry, and task entry. Yeah. Okay. And then we say entry dot priority is equal to priority low. Entry dot completed is equal to false. Entry dot date is equal to yeah, I don't know, nothing. And entry dot description is equal to I like buy a hamster. So that's our task. And then we say entries at num entries plus plus is equal to entry. Yeah, that's basically it. Now in render entries, what we're going to do is just okay. But before we actually say do our for loop and all of the good stuff, we want to actually create a new div for our entries, so as that acts like a container. So so vec2s, and by the way, double parentheses for the macro, so not scream at us. So we want to start at the, and by the way, I left next line. We want to start at the current pointer. Then that's the position of the div. Like that. What we want to do next is the win width minus the get pointer x for the scale x. Minus win margin to have like encapsulate the entire like window minus the window margin. Yeah, that's basically it. And then we have the win height for the y minus the get pointer y to encapsulate everything. From the current pointer to the bottom of the window, minus window margin, and scrollable is going to be true. Actually, unterminated function-like thing, expression result unused. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so that's correct. Then that's not correct actually. So let's have it like this. Yeah. Nice. So let's wrap it a bit and have the lfdiv begin, and yeah, then we can actually map our entries. So entry count. No, I think it's some entries. Yeah, like that. And then let's for now just have a text, which is entries. Okay, so let's can already like factor out the entry. So to do entries at I. It's actually task entry. So task. And that's going to be entry.description, and then we're going to advance to the next line. And yeah, then we want to end the div. Let's see. Okay, so we have buy a hamster. That's cool. So now let's work on the priority being rendered. Yeah, so let's say we want to switch on the entry.priority, and then we have case priority low. We want to do something which is rendering erect, and let's factor out the size of the priority. So priority size equal to 15 pixels, like it's a 15 pixels, basically a 15 pixel circle that we're going to be rendering. So priority size times priority size, and the color is going to be this color, which is a I think it's a green, yeah, because for low it's going to be a green color. And then we want to break. Then we can basically copy it and give a new color value for each priority, so medium and high. And high is going to have a red color, which is 244, 67, and actually 45. No, it's 54. I can't count. And that's 59, 59 actually. And that's 235 and 255 for the medium, which is a yellow. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically it for our priority thing. But before that, what we want to do is set the pointer y absolute to libleif get pointer y plus priority size in here. And also the pointer x, we want to set that plus 5, because that's basically our margin to the left, so it's not cut off. So now we have that, which is pretty cool. But we don't really have proper, like, it's not, you know, it's not, how do you say it, like, aligned correctly. Yeah. For that, what we can actually do is just say float pointer y before. It's just the libleif get pointer y. And for the text, we set the pointer y to pointer y before again, which is going to leave us with a, okay, what the fuck, libleif get pointer y. Okay, we need to set absolute actually. So yeah, like that. Okay, so that's going to leave us with this, which is... Okay, so I just removed the plus priority size. I will just say plus 5 to make the margin just be 5 pixels, because that's enough. And now let's properly align the text. So let's say get the text props, and then we say margin top is like that. Okay, I didn't save. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so now let's get ourselves the in-depth. No, it's in to-do. Like we have icons. So you hopefully cloned that like 5 minutes ago, like probably already an hour ago. Let's see, how long did I already like. Okay, that's a lot. And why the fuck? Oh my god, my window manager is so broken. Okay. So we want to copy into dev/to-do/yt the icons. Yeah. And what we want to do is we want to have a static elif texture remove texture. And then we want to say remove textures elif load texture icons remove, and flip is going to be true, I guess, and the filter is elif text filter linear. Okay, so let's see. Right. So before the checkbox, we want to have our remove thing. So let's say props is the button props because it's actually a button. The remove image, and then the color is no color. Border width is 0. Padding is 0, and margin top. Yeah, let's say 0 for now. And the margin left is going to be 10. And like that, push the style props, and then we have an image button with the image, which is going to be elif texture. .id is remove texture.id, and the width is 20 pixels by 20 pixels, like that. And yeah, I think that's all we need for the image button, or just an image. And if it's clicked, we want to yeah, basically remove it from the elements, but let's like worry about that later. Okay, and then we pop and to do. All right. Pretty nice, looking pretty good, but the margin isn't perfect. So let's say margin top is going to be like 3. So make. It's not make. To do. Yeah. Okay. Looks okay. Looks fine, but I think the margin is off. Like the margin right. That's probably because this margin needs to be like something like 5. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, we can tick it and everything works fine. Nice. So let's say we want to have a title font and a small font. And the small font is going to be small font. Is just enter, so not the bold one. So enter and 20 pixels for the small one. Okay, so what happens if we do elif push font small font? Going to be a very small to do task. Okay, so elif pop font. Yeah. Still looking kind of nice. And if I have 0 in here, yeah, okay. And then we're going to also have the date. So let's say, wait, how do we actually? So because yeah, like push the same props, push the same font. So let's say we want to do it like this. Okay, so we want to have the same float text pointer x is equal to elif get pointer x, and we need to do that before we do the text, like the desk pointer x. Yeah. So that's like the x position of the description. yeah, and then we want to say for here, in here elif set pointer x absolute to the desk pointer x, to set it back to the description, and set the pointer y like one line further down. So elif get theme dot font size, and that should make it pretty nice. Okay, but I think it's not font dot font size, it's just small font dot font size. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. But it's actually not by a hamster, it's date. First of all, okay, date, what the fuck? Okay, didn't save it. And second of all, let's say props dot color. Props dot color is equal to elif color, like 150, 150, 150, which is a gray, and re-push the props. Okay, didn't see anything of the gray. Ah, okay, because it's text color. Yeah, that's kind of nice. That looks okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, so now let's implement. Okay, but let's first see for unit32 I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, I++. Let's see if it works for multiple tasks. Let's have 5 of them. Yeah, cool. Looks pretty nice. Not bad. Okay, we can't really remove them. Maybe we could implement that. So if the checkbox is clicked, let me see. Can I, like, from memory, can I know how to remove something from an array in C? I should know that. I know. Okay, so unit to the I is equal to, like, the index we want to remove. Okay, so let's name it J is equal to I, and I is less than num entries minus 1 I++, and then we say entries at J, and that's basically not I, it's J. It's J in here also. So entries at J is going to be entries at J plus 1. Yeah, and then we say num entries minus minus. Let's see if that will work. Okay, so it's on the checkbox, I'm done. We need it on the image button. Yeah, like that. And oi! I don't know if it worked because everything is by a hamster. Can we, like, maybe we can have it like this if I have something ticked? Yeah. Okay, it worked. Nice. So we can now remove something. And also what we can do just for aesthetics, we can say unit32t rendered count is equal to 0. And always if we render a rendered count is ++. Yeah, and then like that. elif pop font is going to be here and elif next line here. Just make it a little bit more beautiful. And then we say if not rendered count, so if it's like if we didn't render anything, we just want to say there is no task here. Okay, so let's remove everything. There's no task here. And now let's also implement filtering quickly, which is just if the current filter is equal to filter low and okay, so let's do it after we have the entry. So and at entry dot priority is not equal to priority low, we want to continue. So yeah, and if the filter is medium, filter medium, and priority is not equal priority medium, we also want to continue. Okay, and if the current filter is high, and the priority is not equal high, we also continue, and if it's filter all, okay, all we don't need anything, but completed and not completed, we also want to continue, and the same with in progress. So and completed, so if it's not in progress, we also want to continue. So let's see, all in progress completed. Yeah, okay, nice. Low, medium, high, cool. So that seems to work. So now let's implement like actually adding tasks, and then we are actually kind of done. Yeah, but we also are going to implement serialization. Okay, so for the new task thing, we're going to add a new tab. So let's say type def enum tab, or like GUI tab, and then we will say tab dashboard to 0 and tab new task. Yeah. And by the way, let's move that into a new function. So let's say in here static void render render entries, and also remove the scope, because in the function there is already a scope and we don't need that. And then elf next line and render entries. Okay, and it still works. Nice. But now what we want is we want to switch on the current tab. So let's say current filter and static GUI tab current tab. And we want to switch on the current, no, not the current filter, the current tab. And then we say case tab dashboard. You want to render a dashboard, and break, and case tab new task. We want to say yeah, we want to render a new task, and let's make a function already for render new task. Yeah, static void render new task. So render new task. And okay, for now, for that we're going to need some state stuff. First of all, what we need is a back icon, which we need to load. So let's say, because we will have like, for example, in Lissa, which is also an app I made, we always have, okay, average app I'm making, it's just segfaults. We always have the back button, and we also want to implement that in here. So, and by the way, you can also star Lissa. So yeah, https github.com/cococry/Lissa. Give it a star. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So where is our textures here? So back texture. We need that. Then what do we need else? We need a input field. Which is going to be our new task input. And what else? The new task input buff. New task input buff, and maybe we should also separate that like this. And we're going to have 512 for the storage. Okay, to do data file, yeah, all pretty nice. Okay, so let's go into our render new task. But before we do that, let's say we want to say back texture is back.png. Okay, nice. So let's see, where's the code for render new task? So yeah, let's first say elif push font, title font, and then what we're going to say is just have a title, but it has some unique properties, which are a margin bottom of 15 pixels actually. Yeah, let me cook. Okay, so add a new task. It's going to be like the heading of our tab. So add a new task, and then we're going to want to advance to the next line. Okay, and then we're going to begin the form context, or like, I don't know, just the form of our tab. And we're going to say we push the small font. No, because we want to render like, I can show you what we want to render is like this thing. Okay, so elif push font, and then we say elif text description, and elif pop font again, and we're going to want to advance to the next line and push elif get theme dot input field props, because we're now making an input field, and it has a lot of properties. So the border width is 0, the color is okay, so let's go into the next line. So props the color is going to be elif color from 0 to 1, 0.05, 0.05, 0.05, 1.0. Okay, props the color, and props.corner radius is going to be exactly 11. Yeah, the text color is a sweet old white. The border width, didn't we just say the border width is 0? But now we're setting it to 1. Okay, so let's remove that. I didn't notice that in my old code. So border width is 1, and the border color, yeah, we're making something very cool. What we're doing is if the new task input dot selected, so if we selected the input field, we have a white border, and else we have a slightly gray border to give a very cool effect to the user. Yeah, I know, I'm very cool. Okay, and then we have a corner radius of 2.5, not too big, and a margin bottom of 10 pixels. And then we push the props and render our input text. So the new task input, and then we pop the props, and we say elif next line twice. Why twice? I have it twice in here, but we don't really need it twice. Yeah, okay, and then what we're going to need to have is like this drop-down menu, where we have all of the properties, because we now want to like have the property drop down. Okay, so for that we're going to have selected, not property, priority, which we're going to have, and then we have elif push font, small font, to make this elif text again for the priority, like the little thing that we got going on, and advance into the next line. Now the next line, and then we have const char pointer items, which have low, medium, and high priority. You could also name it priorities, but yeah, doesn't matter. And then we have static bool opened, which is for the pop-up, the state for the pop-up. And then we have our props again is equal to button props, because yeah, the pop-up is actually looking kind of like a button, like just from the properties perspective. But set the color to 70, 255, just a kind of a gray color, and then the text color is going to be white, the border width is going to be 0, and the corner radius is going to be 5. Yeah, and maybe like formatted like this, and we have and then we push the style props, and then we call elif drop down menu with the items. The place order is going to be priority, item count is 3, width is 200, height is 80, selected index is and selected priority, opened is and opened. Yeah, and that's basically it for our little drop down. And it's actually not S. Sorry for all of that. Okay, and then okay, strong. Okay, then we have an add button, and the add button is doing some stuff because like if we want to add like our task, there's a lot of stuff happening, but let's kind of ignore that for now and just don't do anything on the press of the add button. So let's see. What we're going to first need to do is form complete. And form complete is just checking if we completed the form and we can submit the task for it to be like in our to-do list. So we just check if the new task input buff, like the string length of the buffer is not 0. So like that, and selected priority not equal -1. So we need to select a priority and have something in the description. Yeah, and then we have a text which is going to be add, which is just the text of the button, and a width, which is the width of the button, which is 150. And then we have the props. So I'll have get theme, button props, props.margin left is 0, and then props.margin right is also 0. And the button, just to show to you, it's going to be in the bottom right. Yeah. Okay, so that, and the corner radius is going to be 5. Border width is equal to 0, and color is equal to. So if the form is not complete, we want to have it appear gray, and else we want to have it appear blue. And I think it was like, I don't know, what was the rules? 56, 65, I mean, 167, 204, and 255. Yeah. Then we push the props, and we set line should overflow to false again, because always if we're doing that stuff of like putting stuff in the bottom or top and stuff, like it's going to always overflow, and we don't want that. So let's say lf set pointer x absolute, the window width minus the width of the button plus plus props.padding times 2 minus global margin, because the button width is always just because we want to render a button with the width of 150, and we also need to add the padding of the button to the width, yeah, to get the full width of the button, minus win margin, yeah, for the x. And for the y we're going to say win height minus lf button dimension text.y plus the padding. Yeah, and then we just render lf button fixed text with -1 clicked and form complete. So we just want to add a new task if the form is complete, but the new task adding, we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to worry about that later. Yes. Okay. And then after all of that shit, let me see. We just set the ls set line should overflow again to true, and we pop the props. And now on the last sprint, we just need the back button. So the back button, first we want to advance to the next line, and the back button is going to be in the bottom left. So yeah, props lf get theme dot button props, and then we have props dot color is no color, props dot border width is equal to 0, props dot padding is 0, props dot margin left is 0, props dot margin top is also 0, props dot margin right is 0, props dot margin, and we have bottom also. Yeah. Okay. Margin left, top, right, bottom. Okay. And then we say we want to push the props and LF set line should overflow again to false. And then we have the texture. So back button is going to be LF texture. Dot ID is equal to back texture dot ID. Dot width is going to be 20. It's going to be 40. And then we set pointer y absolute. Yeah, so the pointer y, because we're going to have it in the bottom left, so we just need to set the pointer y. So the win width minus back button dot height minus win margin times 2. Yeah, and then we set pointer x absolute to win margin. Yeah, and that's basically it for the positioning of the button. And then we check if LF image button, back button, equal to LF clicked. We can just say current tab is equal to tab dashboard. Yeah, and then set line should overflow again to false, to true again. And then pop the props. And that's it for our render new task. Okay, but for that we need to initialize a little bit of UI state. Yeah, mainly like the input field. Okay, so in here we're going to say new task input dot is equal to LF input field. And then with a width of 400, a buff of new input task buff, and the buff size was 512. Placeholders, just what is there to do? Yeah, yeah, and that's basically it. We can also say, like, we should kind of say new task input buff 0. So we want to mem set it to 0. And let's see, new task does nothing, because probably if we press new task, yeah, nothing happens. We want to say, if it's clicked, we want to say state dot, or like not state, but current tab is equal to tab new task. Just switch to the new task tab. Okay, and it's looking pretty good. What is there to do? Buy a cat. Yeah, but nothing happens because we didn't implement that. Nice. Okay, so now what we need is a little helper function, which is get command output, because what we are going to do is yeah, like get the command output of a date command to get the date of the yeah, the current date, so we can add the dates where we added the command. And the helper function is going to be get command output. So let's define that right here at the top. So yeah, just I think you can find that in the internet pretty easy. So just doing that, or just ask ChatGPT, or just go into the code of to do, and in line 601 there is the get command output. Yeah. So yeah, get command output, and that's all we need for yeah, setting up our add functionality. Okay, so if we like, I mean, we can kind of copy that thing actually. So like that. And where is render new task? Here. Okay. So entry is going to be malloc that, and priority is selected priority. Completed is false, obviously, and description is just not it's just a new task input buff. Yeah, like what we wrote into the input field. And the date is just get command output of a very specific date command. So yeah, I'm going to copy that. So it's actually this command. Just write that down, and that gives me the time in this very cool formatted way, like this. Yeah, that's how I want it. So yeah, so that's a date, the description, and also if we like added a new task, what we want to do is say memset new task input buff 0512, because we want to clear out our our input. Okay, that's it. So let's say there's no task here. Okay, cool. So let's say buy a cat, medium, add. Okay, yeah, okay, we don't see anything in here, but the date worked perfectly fine. But we don't see anything because we say we put the task buffer pointer into the description, and then we set it to 0. So yeah, we kind of need to copy the pointer. So char pointer new desk equal to malloc, and yeah, I'm using malloc twice. Oh my god, you shouldn't use malloc, but you sometimes have to just heap allocate stuff. I mean, it's not much, and we can free it later, so don't worry about that. So we want to malloc sterlen of new task input buff, and then we just want to stir copy, and I think it's from. So this destination is new desk, and source is new task input buff. Yeah, and then we're going to say is equal to new desk. Like that. Okay. Perfect. And we kind of also don't need to free it at the end, like the memory, because the operating system does that. But if you want to do that, just do it. So let's say operating, just because I said operating system, and it worked. That's pretty nice. Operating system. System is very high priority. So add, and by the way, we don't sort the priority. So yeah, we can implement that. I think, yeah, okay, so let's implement that. I think it's sort entries by priority. Yeah. Okay. So we need to have a compare function. Okay. In here. No, oh my god. Oh, I hate Vim. Fuck everything. I'm sorry for my wording. So static void sort entries by priority entries, and it's just going to be to do or task entry pointer entries, and it's going to be queue sort entries. Number of members is going to be entry. Yeah, we don't need to, let's just say entries, and entry count or num entries, I think. Num entries. And the size is size of to task entry pointer, and the compare function is static void or static int actually. Compare entry priority const void pointer A, const void pointer B, and we have to do entry. No, it's task entry. Entry A is to do entry pointer. I'm so dumb. It's just to do entry for me. I don't care if it's task entry or not. Oh my god. Entry and then B. And we want to return entry entry B priority minus entry A priority. Yeah, because for example, because if it's returning something that's greater than 0, it's putting it up, and if it's returning something that's less than 0, it's putting it down. So that's priority, so that works. And we say compare entry priority for the QSort function. And yeah, and always if we add something, so add here, if we add something, we want to sort entries by priority. Yeah, and also, yeah, that's it. So sort entries by priority. Okay, so what's there to do? Buy a house. Low. Buy a cat. And that's going to be high, and let's see, maybe it worked. Yeah, worked. Okay. So yeah, that's actually it for our system. But yeah, okay, we could also add, because I had that in the original, that if you wait, hover, yeah. So if you had if you clicked on the priority, then it would actually change it, so it would cycle it. Yeah. So clicked priority, we need to like calculate if you actually clicked there by checking if the given area is hovered, which is lf get pointer x, lf get pointer y. So that's the position of the priority thing, and the scale is just priority size. So if it's if that area is hovered and the mouse button went down, GFW mouse button left, mouse button left. So yeah, basically just if you're on the thing with the mouse and pressed, then you click the priority thing, and if you clicked, we say if entry priority plus 1 is greater than or equal to priority high plus 1, so that's basically the priority count. We say entry priority is equal to 0, and else entry priority plus plus, and that cycles it. So let's see, new task, by ginger, yeah, perfect. Buy a ginger. Okay, and can we cycle it? We kind of can't. Okay, average error. LF get pointer x, LF get pointer y, not LF get pointer y, get pointer y. So let's see. Medium. Okay, nice. So we can change that. But now we also want to sort entries by priority always if we change the priority. Okay, so let's say buy a cat, low. Oopsies, low. Add. And then buy a dog, medium. Add. Clean the house, high. Okay, just those three, and then if I put it on medium, if I put it on high, it's going like that. Okay, and if I put that on low, it's going like that. Ah, nice. Okay, so it's basically the to-do thing is done. Now we just need to somehow serialize that. Okay, for now, let's first have a function called serialize. Where is it? Static void serialize to-do list, and it's going to take a file name and a to-do or task entry pointer list. Okay, and then we want to file is equal to fopen file name, and we want to write bytes. And if not file, we say printf failed to open data file and return. And else we want to go through every. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to take that in because we're not so sophisticated in here. We want to say now entries I++, and then we want to serialize to-do list into the file. I mean to entry into the file, and it's going to be entries at I. And serialize to-do entry. Let's define that function. So serialize to-do entry, and it's going to be taking in a file pointer file and a to-do a task entry. Why did I call it task entry? I'm so dumb. Okay, yeah, and what it will do, it's just writing into the file if the entry is completed, and size of bool 1 and file. If the entry is completed, yeah, and then it's going to write the description length, which is just entry.desk +1. +1 is just for the null terminator. Yeah, and then we write the desk len into the file, and size of size t 1 and file, and then we want to write the entry description also to the file to later get that. Size of char and desk len is the count, and then file, like that. Yeah, and then we want to write the date to the file, so we can basically copy that. So date length is entry date, and date length size of st file, and entry date, and that's going to be date length. And then we want to write the priority. So entry.priority and size of entry priority and 1 and file. Priority incompatible. Okay, like that. And that's it. That's how to serialize a to-do entry. So for the serialization, it's pretty easy. But now the deserialization, it's a different story. But it's also not that hard. So let's implement that. So to-do entry pointer deserialize to-do entry file pointer file. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything to that. Okay, task entry is equal to malloc size of entry. That's going to be task entry, and now we want to read, not write. So fread entry.completed size of bool 1 file. Yeah, that's basically, we could do some error handling, just entry turn null and stuff, but let's just keep it simple and not do that. And yeah, now what we need is size t, the description length, to know how big the description is. We need that. So fread the desk len size of size t 1 file, and then we do entry.description is equal to malloc desk len. So now we know how much we want to allocate for the description, and then we want to read the description from the file by just saying entry.desk and size of char and desk len for the count and file. And yeah, and then basically we need to do the same thing for the date. So date length yeah, and malloc date length, and entry date. And so now we got the date, and now just the priority. So fread entry.priority, size of entry priority, 1 file. And then we return the entry. And that's how we deserialize a to-do entry. And now we want to deserialize a to-do list. Yeah. And okay, so we have a file name. And what it does, it takes in a to-do entry. Yeah, a to-do entry pointer. Entries. But it's actually a pointer. Isn't it? Yeah, okay, we don't need to take in like as always, because we just have global state. So file is equal to fopen file name read bytes this time, and then if not file, we actually want to create the file. So file name write close file, and then file is equal to fopen file name read bytes, but we just want to do that if the file is not there yet. Yeah. Okay. Let me think. Okay, so what we are going to be doing is task entry, and then while entry is equal to deserialize to do entry file. While that's not equal to null, we say entries. Okay, yeah, okay. Now I see the problem, because if so now we kind of need to do that. So if that's not equal to 1, then we want to free entry and return null. Yeah, that's the condition of how to know that the deserialization ended. Yeah, and then also for the description length, if that's not equal 1, we want to say free entry, and 1 is just the count that's returned. Yeah, and if that, we could say if not entry desk, we can also say free entry and return null. Yeah. Okay, and then if that's not the desk len, we want to free entry desk, free entry, and return null. Okay, so last sprint. If that's not equal 1, we want to say free entry and return null, and also free the description. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and okay, we could say something like that. Oh my god. Wait. Yeah. So if that's not the case, we say want to free the description, and if the date was not allocated correctly, and here we say not equal date len, we want to free all of this scheiße. Free entry date, and if that's not equal to 1, we want to do the exact same thing. Yeah. Okay, and then here we're just going to say entries at entry num entries ++ is equal to entry. Yeah. Okay. That's it for deserialization, but now we also want to close the file. After we opened it, Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Yeah. Okay. So let's say let's create a file to do data.bin. All right, and then what we're going to do is on startup we're going to say deserialize to do list, and the file name is /to do data.bin. Yeah, so let's first see if that even works and if it doesn't crash. Okay, it doesn't crash. Nice. Okay, now let me think. Okay, if we add something, we definitely want to serialize. So serialize to do list /to do data.bin. And yeah, and now let's see. Now saving and loading should kind of work. So let's say this is a saved task. Hopefully, medium add. Okay, it's here, and if okay, there are no tasks here. Nice. Okay, but this is a saved task. I mean, it added it perfectly fine. Yeah, so now why doesn't it work? Serialize to-do list. Entries at num entries plus. Maybe let's say printf hello. Maybe I did something. Okay, so it doesn't really get that. If that's not equal to 1, I mean, let's say, does it get till here? Yes.
Does it get till here? Yes. Does it get till here? Yeah. Does it get till here? Yeah. Does it get till here? Yeah. Does it get till here? Yes. No, does it get till here? Yes. Does it get till here?
-1. My dear friend. Oh my god. Okay. Now, this is a saved task. Hopefully. Perfect. So, saving and loading works. But now, also, if I tick, we also want to serialize. So, LF checkbox, where is it? Let's say serialize to-do list. /to do data. Yeah, and also if I remove something, so rather than removing, we also want to serialize to-do list. So let's say if I tick, close the app, and open again, it's still ticked. So that's very cool. And if I remove, it's removed. That's amazing. Okay, so now we have our little task management app completely done. So let's use it a bit. Let's say, buy a new dog. That's a pretty medium task, I would say. Then maybe like get the dishes done. Pretty high right now. Maybe something like make my homework. Like medium. I'm going to do it later, you know. So medium, and then maybe go to sleep. Yeah, sleep is very important. So let's set it to high. And then, yeah, make a new YouTube video. Let's set that to low. Okay. Perfect. Invalid pointer. So that's a problem. Let's address that. So W, and also let's say LF. Where is it? Add. Also, if it was clicked or we pressed enter, or LF mouse button went down. No. LF or LF key went down. GFW GLF W key enter. And form complete. Okay, so if I now say medium, okay, perfect. Invalid. Now I get it. Okay, so we also need to reset the index of our new task input dot cursor index is equal to 0, and also we should lf input field unselect all, because if you selected something we want to remove the selection. So new task input, okay, like that, because actually in libleif you can actually also select things and copy and do all of that good stuff. I implemented all of that. It was a pain, but I did. Okay, so medium. So let's just tinker around a bit and see if everything kind of works. And also we have a scroll bar, which is also very cool. And it still works. Perfect. Okay, just one finishing touch, then I'm going to leave you alone. I promise. Let's go into the wherever we hand the theming. Yeah, so let's say theme dot scrollbar props dot margin dot corner radius is going to be like 2. I don't know if 2 is a good thing. Yeah, 2 is pretty nice. Now we have a smooth scroll bar. Yeah, so yeah, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. So we have our little task management system with saving and loading. You can actually also use it if you want. Pretty good thing for a portfolio, I would say. Yeah, so I hope you liked it, and bye guys, and peace.